Hello, greetings, my friend. Welcome to day 21 here in the 24 days of the Beautiful Strength Challenge. I'm Matt Schifferly, and today we're discussing why it's really hard to be strong on an empty stomach. And this is a lesson I learned way back in high school, and particularly when I was having my first real job delivering fitness equipment, where if I didn't quite get enough to eat or I went long enough time without food, I wouldn't get hangry necessarily, but I would just get really kind of quiet. My boss always recognized this. She would be like aware that I wasn't talking very much and I'd just kind of be moving a little slower and just like, oh, Matt needs a refuel and stuff. And one of the biggest mistakes that I was making at the time in trying to stay well fueled is a very disturbing trend that I find is becoming more prevalent in our fitness culture, where people are consuming fewer and fewer actual meals and instead just kind of piecemealing their nutrition throughout the day with snacky things. Things like, protein bars, or they just grab a piece of fruit and they would call that a meal or something. That was back in the day, the old bodybuilding adage of, you got to eat like 7 or 8 meals a day. And it's like, wow, that's a lot. It's like, no, this is a meal, and it'd be like a banana or something like that. And one of the reasons also why I feel like a lot of things like intermittent fasting and dietary approaches tend to produce a better benefit isn't because you're cutting things out and you stop eating certain foods. It's because the habits kind of guide people in more towards wholesome meal habits, where you sit down and you have a breakfast with multiple things, have a lunch and a dinner and things like that, rather than just grabbing whatever you can at the local coffee shop or, heaven forbid, like the gas station when you're filling up for the morning. And you might be asking, well, okay, so any guidelines or stuff like that? And people, again, way overthink this nutrition stuff like crazy. But instead, as I've always advocated, is follow the 3P strategy. Whenever you're having a meal, you mind your 3Ps. P number 1 is protein. So here I've got my breakfast. I've got some Greek yogurt, and I made myself a breakfast sandwich with several eggs and some cheese and some deli meats and stuff like that. So you want to look at your meal, or at least what you're eating, and say, yeah, there's a good chunk of protein there. It shouldn't be something you have to hunt for. P number 2 is plant. Okay, so once again, got that. I got some fruit that I usually have. I got my tea here as well. So I've got something that is plant-based, and that ups the nutritional value of what you're eating and also gives you things like, fiber and things like that. And then the final third P is portion. And portion refers to the meal as a whole, so that you're satisfying your hunger and you're getting a good feeling like, oh yeah, I've got something in my system, but also managing the portion size of things. So it's not like you're eating an entire bowl of pasta and very little else, and things are kind of out of whack and balance. No need to count anything, no need to measure or weigh or anything. As long as you're following your 3Ps of like, I got my plant, I got protein, and this portion will probably satisfy me pretty good. Might have to add in maybe a banana or something if I feel it's not adequate enough. If you do that a couple times a day, don't worry if like 1 meal a day, 2 meals, 3 meals, doesn't matter. Just get meals and snack as a supplement. Usually the snacks are really good to be either plant-based or protein-based, and that's a good way to guide if your snacks are going to be more fortifying for your dietary needs. But if you're getting a little bit more of a focus on wholesome meals, you're going to satisfy your fundamental appetites a lot better, and you're going to make it a lot easier to be stronger in body, mind, and lifestyle. All right, core training is coming up tomorrow, because once we've got all this to manage our weight and everything, then we go into building much stronger abs, and why many people go about it in a very inefficient and ineffective way. See you in tomorrow's video. Be fit and live free.